The amount of positivity my last video received really opened my eyes to how many people share a passion for the Rings of Power, just like I do. The sheer volume of enthusiasm really just knocked me off my feet. So thank you all for showing my video some love, it really means a lot to me. Like I mentioned last time, we're only a few weeks away from the new season.
This thing is blooming. The shadow is going ever greater and ever closer.
So far, Amazon has released a few trailers, giving us some insight on what to expect from it. And I am so hyped. These trailers are just jam-packed with stuff that reaffirms my belief that this season will be a season to remember. So here are just a few reasons why I'm so excited for Rings of Power Season 2. Last season left me in suspense about the fate of Isildur. I was nearly convinced that Isildur had died. Just in case you're unfamiliar with who Isildur is, he's the guy in the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring movie,
Isildur, son of the king, took up his father's sword,
who defeats Sauron. The guy who basically puts all the events of the Lord of the Rings trilogy into motion. The guy who, if killed off, would basically derail the entire plot for the entire trilogy. Just a completely necessary character to keep alive. You basically can't have the Lord of the Rings trilogy without Isildur. It just wouldn't work. Anyways, last season it really looks like he gets crushed by some burning rubble. And just to reaffirm my suspicions, the show added a scene between his dad and the Queen, implying that he is truly gone.
Given your loss, I would understand it if upon our return you wish to take a leave of duty.
So imagine my surprise when he appears alive and well in the new behind-the-scenes featurette. Luckily, here we see that Isildur is alive and well. Wait, what? What's happening to Isildur here? What? Oh my god. Well, now based on what we just saw in the featurette, a whole new question comes up. Does Isildur die in season 2?
You gotta play poker with us for a while to get our tails.
Oh boy, okay.
I don't play poker, by the way.
It seems like Celebrimbrand gets duped into working with Sauron for a second time.
Our work begins now.
The great thing about this is Celebrimbrand is supposed to get tricked into thinking that this guy isn't Halbrand. Yet they choose to have the actor that plays Halbrand be the one to trick him. Even though they apparently have multiple actors playing Sauron this season.
We're going to see a Sauron actually that is not played by Charlie Vickers.
Now you may be thinking, how dumb, how naive, how oblivious does Celebrimbrand have to be to not recognize that this is the same guy as Halbrand? How could he possibly be that stupid?
No, what have you done to me?
But to be fair, Sauron, as cunning as he is, has now disguised himself with beautiful, long blonde hair. Considering even I had no clue who this stallion was.
Who is this man?
Until I remembered something J.D. Payne recently said.
Also Anatar, we're going to see him with, as we see in trailers now, we're going to see Sauron as Anatar, who is the Lord of Gifts.
And Halbrand literally making the same gift reference.
What am I to call you? A sharer of gifts.
Just like he did in episode 8 of season 1.
Call it a gift.
But even though it's the exact same actor, with the exact same face, I still think we should cut Celebrimbrand a little bit of slack. I'm sure it's hard to concentrate on phrasing and facial features when you're in the presence of these golden locks. Talk about a stallion. Matter of fact, there are actually rumors that alloys may not be the only thing these two will be mixing together, if you know what I mean. During an interview with the cast, someone asked,
many of us in the LGBT community see ourselves in Tolkien's writings. Any chance we'll see ourselves on the show?
Maybe you have already.
Shucks.
I can't be the only one that felt the heat between these two. And I ain't talking about the Forge, if you know what I'm saying. Now, to be fair, this isn't confirmed or anything, but I would absolutely love to see this ship sail.
Well, I basically let him move in to my house.
Yeah.
And it sort of goes from there.
So, just imagine. Please do it. Please do it. Please do it. At least when they tried to ship Galadriel with Sauron last season, I could understand why Sauron would be attracted to her.
I alone can see your light.
You shall be kept alive, so that one day I will whisper in your piked ear that all your offspring are dead.
But this would this would be something.
Oh, what have you done to me?
Also, yeah, very important, guys. Sauron will be changing costumes throughout the season. It's
And you got to watch as his costumes evolve over the season also. They go from sort of almost biblical prophet and sort of light white robes, down to these sort of dark, feathered, more evil-looking get-ups.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to look forward to that. I'm going to follow the costume changes as we move along throughout the season.
It's going to be another highlight for me. If there's one thing that J.D. Payne and the other one are good at, it's keeping me guessing. One of last season's biggest mysteries was figuring out which character was Sauron. At least with this mystery, we were fortunate enough to have been given an answer, after seeing him in episode 2. But one character identity still remains shrouded in secrecy. Of course, I'm referring to the Stranger.
The Stranger is widely believed to be Gandalf. I have a quote, "If in doubt, always follow your nose," and all that.
My personal theory is that he's Aragorn.
This isn't one of these, sort of things where we're trying to purposely be concealing something or there's some big rug pull coming.
But I guess we'll have to wait and see. You'd better subscribe to Medium Beetle. Another thing that was confirmed in Season 2, and this should be obvious.
Now that it's Season 2, this is the season where we're bringing in more creatures.
Just like all the great fantasy series before it, Season 2 will continue the esteemed tradition of being the creature season. So let's check out these creatures. First up,
spiders.
Spiders everywhere.
Spiders. Next up is either a wolf or a warg, but I think it's a warg. One thing I really appreciate about the warg in Season 1 was its ability to rip me away from any sense of immersion I may have been clinging onto. So it's nice to see that they updated the design to look even faker than before. We have this worm thing, which is apparently also Sauron.
We will also see Sauron that is not even in human form, and that is in sort of creature form.
Creature form not played by Charlie Vickers.
Well, there's a bit of a slimy monster in a trailer. That's what we're talking about.
Okay. We got some clues here.
I gotta say, this is a huge improvement from the old design. Every time I've watched Lord of the Rings, I've always asked myself, what if Sauron was a worm? But wait a second, hold the phone. We're actually introduced to 2 new slimy creatures. Well, guys, looks like the mystery of who is Sauron is back on, baby.
A puddle blob, Sauron.
Yeah. Then there's the other worm, which apparently is the judicial branch of Númenorian society.
The sea trial involves throwing someone into the sea and seeing if they survive with the sea worm.
If they survive, they're innocent.
It's a lovely day for a swim.
The sea is always right!
The design still looks pretty badass and will probably remain the best thing about the show. For people who still feel like this series is not comparable to Peter Jackson's trilogy, they threw you guys a special treat.
They have a cave troll.
Admittedly, it looks pretty cool in the scene, I'm not gonna lie, I liked it. Next up, another classic trilogy creature.
The Ents.
They're like 27 feet tall at least.
Just an absolutely joyless design. And finally, one of the most terrifying creature designs ever to make its way back on screen.
Has returned.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ.
Galadriel, stop.
Gets me every time. Speaking of Galadriel,
prepare yourselves.
She seems to be her usual self. In the new trailer, she explains that Sauron plans to use the rings to control whoever wears them, as the trailer simultaneously shows a clip of her putting the ring on.
Sauron sees himself as master of all Middle-earth. He seeks to rule it not only through conquest, but by bending the minds of all its peoples to his own. And for that he needs not armies.
No!
But rings.
So when the trailer also puts up the text, darkness will bind them, while showing her and the other elves wearing rings. Is this an instance of Galadriel willingly helping Sauron again? That would be in line with her character, considering she still hasn't told the elves that Halbrand was Sauron.
Where is Halbrand?
He is gone, and I doubt he will return. And should he ever, none of us are to treat with him again.
Like, why are you keeping this a secret, Galadriel? Why are you doing this? Like, your whole thing was finding Sauron, and now you're just refusing to tell anyone that you found Sauron. What are you doing? What are you doing? So she finally says it this season, but not because she felt any sense of urgency. She seems to withhold it until being directly questioned by the King of Elves.
We will discuss the rings once you have answered the question. Who is this man?
And even then, first she has to say some cryptic phrase.
He is no man.
Then denies accountability for helping him for the entirety of Season 1.
He deceived me.
Before finally revealing his name.
He is Sauron.
So just to sum this all up.
He seeks to rule it by bending the minds of all its peoples to his own. And for that he needs not armies, but rings. I know you believe this ring is deceiving me. But I believe it is guiding me. He deceived me.
Perhaps your search for Morgoth's successor should have ended in your own mirror.
I was actually scared they were going to edit her character after Season 1. Try to make her more likable. It does not seem like that's going to be the case. Thank God. So I got a lot more to say. I got a lot more things to point out.
Fight with our friends!
But I feel like this video is probably long enough already, so I'm going to stop here. I'm just so hyped for Rings of Power Season 2, and after watching this video, I hope you're just as hyped as I am. Because I believe this season could do the impossible and be even worse than the last one. But they already set the bar pretty low, so if they don't hit a new low, no big deal. Either way, it's gonna be something. Either way, I'm Medium Beetle. Oh yeah, Adar dies. You could say it's possible he lives from this, but come on. I'm almost positive they're trying to pull a Boromir in the dumbest fashion. The show is a walking cliche. There's no fucking way he's living from this. He's done. You can quote me. He dies in this scene. Calling it now. He's done. Bye.